Hey, I'm Coach Marcus at Pink Sock Endurance Coaching. Welcome to my channel.
Hey, so welcome to week 4 of How to Run a Faster 5K in 12 weeks. So this is week 4, and this is test week. So this week, we're going to mix it up a little bit, and we're basically going to finish week 4 with a 5K race. So it's going to be a real good test just to see how your fitness has improved in this first 4 weeks, and we can reset those training interval paces, we can reset your threshold pace, and even your easy pace range. So depending on if you run faster, slower, or the same, we can just reevaluate mid-course just to double check that you're running at the right intensities to show the best and most efficient improvement. So this is week 4. I'll get right into it. So you're going to be doing 3 sessions again this week. The first session is going to be intervals. The second session is going to be an easy paced run. And the third run is going to be 5K race. So with the first session of the week, which is intervals, we're still going to do our standard 20-minute warm-up. So we know that is our 10-minute run where we progress through the pace. So we basically finish nice and warmed up, ready to do the drills. And then we'll do our 10-minute drill set, standard drills, followed by a 2-minute recovery before we start the session. So, and again, links in the description below. You should know by now the drill setup and the warm-up setup. So I'm not going to run through that in detail, just so we can jump straight into the main session. So the main session, the interval session this week, it's different. You're only going to do 4 times 2 minutes. So not 6, we're only doing 4 this week. So you'll do 4 times 2 minutes, and between each one of those, you still have your standard 2-minute walking recovery. So 2 minutes, 2 minutes walk, 2 minutes, 2 minutes walk, but we're only doing this 4 times this week. So the reason for this is test week. So we're just reducing off some of the volume, but we're keeping the intensity. So you still want to run these at your interval pace. And if you're feeling fresh, you can even push these a little bit harder than you have been. So if you've comfortably been hitting those interval paces, you can just afford to just attack these a little bit harder than you normally would, because you're only doing 4. So that's the interval session. Finish that with your standard 10-minute cool down, and that's session 1 of the week. Session 2 this week, completely different. We're not doing any threshold work this week, and we need to ensure that when we run our third run of the week, which is our 5K race, that we're as fresh as possible. So session 2 is an easy paced, continuous 25-minute run. So you'll basically head out in your easy pace range, just start nice and slow. There's no need to do a warm up. So nice and slow at a similar pace that you do normally on run 3 of the week, and just run for 25 minutes. So it doesn't need to be anything special. You can pick the pace up if you want, but please make sure that you stay within your easy pace range for the entire 25 minutes. And if you do pick the pace up throughout the 25 minutes, just spend that last 5 minutes bringing the pace back down again. And after the 25 minutes, just go into a 2-3 minute walk. That is session 2, so an easy paced run. And it's continuous, so we're not stopping to have a walk break. It's just 25 minutes of continuous running, and that is run 2. So run 3, this is test week. So you will be racing a 5K effort for run 3. So 20-minute warm-up, so the standard 20-minute warm-up, and then once you've done your 20-minute warm-up, you just have a nice 2-minute walking recovery, just mentally preparing yourself for the 5K effort that's coming up. So once you've done that, reset your watch, save your warm-up separately, and have your watch ready as if you're going to race. So stand on that start line 10 seconds before, have a virtual start line, be ready on your watch, ready to start the 5K race. So the 5K race, how are you going to pace it? What sort of effort? So what do you already know? So you know what pace you ran 4 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago when you last did a 5K effort. If you did a 10K effort, you can again look in the VDOT app, look at those training paces, and that will tell you what that equated to if it was a 5K effort, so minutes per mile pace. So you know, if we're talking about your past 5K that you recently did, you know what your average pace was per mile or per K. You also know what pace you've been training at for your threshold pace and what pace you've been training at for your interval pace. So how did I pace my 5K that I did last week? Because like I said at the end of last week's video, I'm a week ahead of you guys, so I've already done it. So how did I pace it? Well, I knew what my 5K pace was from the past 6 weeks ago. So that was my target starting point, because that should now be easier. So that was my target for the first 2 or 3 minutes. I'd set out at that pace and just allow my body to settle in to race pace. After a couple of minutes, that started to actually feel okay. So I started picking the pace up. So I went through threshold pace, because threshold pace is what we can sustain for an hour, and the 5K is going to be quicker. So if you're running your entire 5K at your target threshold pace, you're actually running too slow. So I went through that threshold pace. I was still feeling good and just built the pace until I got to a point where I felt I could maintain it for the full 5K. At this point, I was running right at the top end of threshold, somewhere between threshold pace and interval pace. It was about a 9-ish out of 10 effort, so 8.5, 9 out of 10 effort. Controlled breathing is important, so I wasn't uncontrolled in my breathing. It was still controllable. And that was the first mile. So I've gone through the first mile and I'm now running somewhere between threshold and my interval training pace. So mile 2 started, and unfortunately for me, it was a headwind, but I just dug in. I knew what pace I'd maintain for that first mile, and we want to do this as a progressive. So I've already said to myself, can I push harder? Can I maintain the pace? So for me, it was a headwind. So I knew it was going to be really difficult to maintain the pace, but I just dug in, kept track of my time, kept track of my effort, and just pushed into that second mile and maintained the pace. If it wasn't a headwind, I'd have probably gone slightly quicker, but in this instance, it was actually a second slower than mile 2. But if you've got a nice non-windy day, just maintain that pace, keep track of the effort. So the final mile, again, can you maintain the pace or can I push harder? So at this point, I now started thinking, can I maintain as close as possible to interval pace? Can I go 5 seconds faster? Can I do 10 seconds faster? So I pushed on, maintained that slightly faster pace, probably around about a 9.5 out of 10 effort now. So starting to hurt, my legs are starting to feel it. My breathing's still controlled, but I just want to get this finished now. So 2.5 miles in, I know the finish is in sight. So again, if I've got anything left, now is the time in the last 5 minutes to really start thinking, can I push just 5 seconds per mile faster? So really dig in on that last half a mile or that last kilometre. Once I knew I was probably 2-3 minutes away from the finish, probably closer to 2 minutes, again, can I just empty the tank for this last few minutes and give it everything I've got? So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how to pace it. We know the pace ranges that we're capable of running at, and we, more importantly, know what we did for the 5K 4 to 6 weeks ago or 4 to 8 weeks ago. So with this structured training that you've done for this first 4-week block, you really should be able to comfortably run faster. So like I said, I managed to knock 1.5 minutes off, which is huge. Don't expect to see that kind of improvement yourself, or even at the end of the course, because you will see the bigger improvements once you've started doing some structure. So we're actually doing structure throughout the course. We'll start seeing marginal improvements as time goes on. So that's how to run it. Once you've finished your 5K, obviously don't forget to stop your watch and record your time and upload it. Please drop me a comment below so I can have a look at your data and we can all share in our goals and our achievements together. And just after you've done your 5K, just make sure you do a nice, easy 10-minute cool down afterwards. So that's week 4, race week. Like I say, it'd be really good to get you guys commenting below just so I can see how you all got on. Some of you may have seen improvement. Some of you might have seen huge improvement. Others might have repeated exactly what they did before. Some of you might have even been slower. But please let me know how you get on so I can offer some help and support just to see either where you're going wrong or if you're doing perfectly, I can just say well done. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. And that was week 4. And well done and happy running.